Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Mental Training Thursdays. My name is Dr. Mac Brown, and welcome. We are excited to have you here again. This week's topic is going to be about igniting our spark when we're not feeling it. Motivation can definitely wax and wane for a variety of different reasons, and certainly we're all feeling it, especially related to challenges that are coming up with COVID and sports right now. You might even be noticing it coming up in academics. Before we dive into that, we wanted to kick us off with a question that we got from last week's discussion, which was about connection in the face of loss.
So the question we got from last week, with all of the challenges in the world right now, part of me feels guilty because I'm actually doing well. Is that okay or normal to feel?
This was a great question that came in. A lot of times what we might be hearing people talk about are the challenges that they can't see certain people because of concerns around transmission with COVID, that life is not what it used to be, routines are not what they used to be. And so there's a lot of focus on what is challenging right now. What I don't think a lot of people are talking about or acknowledging is that there are things that they might find they're benefiting because of the way things are right now. So for instance, some people might notice that they're kind of enjoying that they have some more flexibility in their schedule, or that they can set things up in a way that is specific to them and what works for them in their routines, rather than, oh, I have practice at this time set every day, so I have to be there, or I have to be in this class at this time. There's a lot more mobility in how we're setting things up, and people like that. Some people like that, right? So I think what is happening is that people are experiencing that guilt if they're not hearing a lot of other people talk about the ways in which they might be finding some benefit, or silver lining, as we call it, to current circumstances. And they don't want to vocalize that, especially if all they're hearing other people talk about are the challenges or the things that they're feeling like they're losing out on, because they don't want to, make light of someone else's experience. So it's okay to be upset if there are challenges and things that you're experiencing in our day and age right now. And it's okay to not be upset if there are things that you're noticing are those silver linings for you. It can be a bit of both, and that's normal and that's okay. And then just one other point around that is that, it can lead to feeling lonely if you're in that place where I'm okay, but I don't want to talk about it with other people in case they're not okay. That can feel kind of isolating, especially at a time where we are feeling that distance and lack of being able to connect more physically with people in a way that we used to. So those are just some of my thoughts to that wonderful question that was posed to us.
Thank you, Mac, for riffing off that question, and Chris for naming it, and to the student athlete for asking that. I think it really ties into today around, what do we deal with, what's okay to feel during this time, what's not okay to feel, and all of that confusion can kind of create a cloud, and it's difficult to come back to what really matters to us. So, segue to today's topic, we're really thinking about how do we ignite that spark of motivation of what matters for us, what we need, even when we're in a time where there's so much different expectation, judgment, real chronic stress that can get in the way of that. So we're going to talk about, how do we start on this end of the spectrum of motivation, like right at the start of the race, and we'll transition to maybe a further on that spectrum or continuum in future weeks. But the way we're going to explain it is basically how we view like a stone and a flint. So if we were, trying to make a spark, essentially, and I got to give kudos to Dr. Mac Brown, metaphor extraordinaire, for coming up with this one. But when we think about motivation, right at the beginning, right now, we really want to start with that stone. So it's like a landing place for us, just to clear some space, something that's grounding with everything that's going on. And then we bring in this flint. The flint really represents our why, what really matters for us. And so once we've kind of had that landing spot, we can create that spark, just that initial ember for us of what we need and what really matters. So we're going to do a quick exercise right now to train this up with you. It's something that's portable, you can take with you. If you want to slow it down when you listen to this again, feel free to pause it. But we're just going to jump right into what can help us just ignite our motivation and find that spark. So to jump into it, if you want to close your eyes, please do if that's comfortable for you. If you'd rather keep them open, that works as well. And we really just want to come right into contacting our feet on the ground. So just starting with our feet, we're just going to drop right in. Just feeling the weight of the feet. You can even wiggle your toes if you want to, just to connect with the rootedness, with the ground beneath us. Allowing ourselves to feel the weight of the soles of the feet connecting to the earth. Feelings in the socks or the shoes you might be wearing, or bare feet on the ground. And then we're going to invite you to use your out breath, use your exhale to just send that breath down into the soles of your feet. Almost like waves of just dropping in to feeling connected and grounded. And just bringing your attention now just to the sense of weight in your seat, if you're sitting. Inviting the out breath or exhale to just drop in, feel the weight and the contact and pressure in the back of our legs. Feeling connected to our seat in the lower back, the upper back. Just being held by the chair. And as we're feeling kind of the weightedness, the groundedness, just dropping into this moment. See if you can allow the out breath to let the shoulders drop or loosen if you're noticing any tension, the neck to soften. Just let the weightiness of the shoulders, of our body's frame, just to rest. Whatever burden, stress, distraction, expectation shows up, we can drop in and just hold ourselves in our body. And from this place of grounding, I'm just going to drop in a few questions for us. Just inviting you to think about what matters to you right now in this moment. What are you yearning for? What are you craving? What do you need? Connecting to whatever matters to you, even with the challenges in your life right now or your day. What are the actions that bring an aliveness to your life, that gives you joy and satisfaction? And it can be helpful too, just imagining sometime in the future, it could be tomorrow, could be a week, could be a month, a year from now. And you look back at the memory of today, what would give you the most satisfaction looking back in what you stood for and how you showed up? And know that you can carry this value with you, this why, this what matters in your day. You can drop in to grounding to clear space for what you need at any moment moving forward. And I invite everybody just to do maybe one more quick scan from head to toe. Any places you want to bring a little comfort, some softening, do that for yourself. And if your eyes are closed, you can open them at your own pace. And we can jump back into our conversation.
Thank you so much, Bob, for taking us through that. And, I think there's something that's really wonderful about these exercises is that there's a piece of them that's reinforcing some of the earlier things we've talked about through body scans, breath awareness, and feeling grounded. And those are things, again, we've used in our Instagram posts, the term psych flex and the idea of having like psychological flexibility. And also I think about it in addition as thinking about like, you have to do multiple reps to develop your strength psychologically to use these skills to their benefit. So I found myself really being grateful that there was another way that we could reinforce some of these really helpful tools and strategies for you all. And then more specific around the idea of tapping into like, what is your why? What is something that you notice for yourself that has meaning for you, that can help guide you? I think that is something that I noticed, at least when I was going through the practice, that it doesn't have to be like a very specific, tangible, goal-oriented thing to help spark that motivation. It can be something that is more thematic and values-based, like Bob had mentioned in the exercise, that really helps you connect to what is something that feels really powerful and moving to me. And then in my current situation, how can I translate that into something to create momentum? So as Bob said, we're really focusing on that grounding piece. And there are multiple things that we're going to be talking about that are going to be that flint that you can use to strike against your grounded self to really then help create something and ignite things for you. We definitely are going to continue with looking at those ways that you can fuel what is going to motivate you, and then also what are things that can drain you of that motivation and that focus.
Awesome. Thanks, Mac. And absolutely, as Mac mentioned, moving forward next week, we're really looking at those stuck moments when we feel drained, maybe there's harsh judgment. And so our topic for next week is really, how do we fuel our drive by loving tough? Really countering some of those harsh judgments that can show up maybe further down the motivation kind of spectrum. But thank you all so much for joining us. Join us next week for Fueling Our Drive by Loving Tough. Again, if you have any questions, please do email me at robert.deal, D-I-E-H-L, @colorado.edu. We welcome those questions, and we'll end with the following quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. What lies behind us and what lies ahead of us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And we hope for all of you, you can keep coming back to that spark that you carry with you each day. Take care and go Buffs.